Thank you so much for joining us on Straight Outta Savannah. I am super, super psyched because my guest, Tonya Melendez, is here and she is going to tell you all about who she is, what she does, and how she can help you. So, Tonya, take it away.
Thank you so much for having me, beloved. It feels so good to just be in conversation with sisterhood, talking about spiritual things, talking about manifestation, intentional living, wellness, all of that. So, a little bit about me is I was a school librarian. I studied very early to be a librarian, and I love books, and I am a writer as well. So I felt if I was at least near books, I would always be, somewhere near the books, right? And so becoming a librarian, because I was a single mom and I wanted to have a good schedule that worked with my daughter as well.
Yeah.
And so it was important for me to have a schedule that was with her so she wasn't coming home alone,
Yes.
and me working different hours. And so I quit my job. It's got to be about 17 years ago. Around this time, I remember it was October 3rd. So I've got to say, maybe it was 2006.
Oh, wow.
Maybe, yeah. So, yeah, I became a librarian at 28.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, so I was a very young librarian. And so I just knew I was ready for something else. I had my Eat, Pray, Love moment. It was when that book first came out, and I was like, wow. And, this was before she got famous in the movie and any of this. But when I read the story, I was like, I understand what she's experiencing. I was in my mid 30s, I was like, what am I
Yes.
doing?
Yes.
And I was like, there's not been a story written by a woman like this that I can relate to. We were fed, and no shade here, because I'm so grateful for her work, but we were fed how Stella got her groove back,
That's
right?
right.
We weren't getting into the memoirs and into our own self-study because we were so stuck in survival mode and how Stella got
Yes.
her groove back, right?
Yes.
And so I knew then, and what I know now, and is about yoga and wellness. And I was really like, I've got to heal myself.
Yes.
So I started going to a spiritual church. And even though I had all of the spiritual training and done all my spiritual thing, got my yoga certification, I was still drinking every day. And the
Yes.
reason is something I had learned. I had seen, this is what you do on Friday night. This is what you do after a hard day. This is what you do on Monday night. On Sunday night, it's getting ready for Monday. It's Saturday night, it's a party. And so I just, this rhythm and cycle of drinking and working for the weekend. And I was like, no, this isn't me. And so then I was doing all the single mom things and trying to be a spiritual entrepreneur. And then I would have a glass of wine after yoga class, right? And so I was doing all the things, and I was like, I'm not drinking like vodka and rum. I'm just drinking
The
wine.
wine is fruit.
Just wine, exactly, just fruit. Jesus drank wine,
Yes,
right?
he
And
did.
so I kept all the reasoning, right? And I thought I was doing the right thing because I had had some success. I had moved to Europe and was on a reality show at 40, where I was voted number 3 psychic medium in the world on a reality show. And I'll tell you more about that in a minute. But let me get you on the timeline, see if we can be, where we are today.
Yeah.
And so after the TV show, then I came back to the United States and was living in South Florida, and thought that was where I was going to be because I want to be by the ocean. I am a or quadruple cancer. And so I love, again, this is why I'm so psychic as well. But it wasn't my place. And I was like, Spirit, where am I supposed to go? And so I was back in Europe this time, living on the Mediterranean coast in Spain.
Okay, wait,
And I
wait.
thought,
How did you get to the librarian to the psychic?
oh, okay. So the librarian to the psychic. So I've always been psychic,
Yeah, we
as
all
a
are.
young girl, which is why I shared my Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus are in Cancer. So I used to sleepwalk. I used to sleepwalk and have visions, and all these different things would occur. And so I always knew I had it in me, but I thought there was something wrong with me.
Yes.
Like now we are here, and I'm so grateful for this. And I really do teach like mini mystics, because I want children to recognize that it is so normal for them to have these feelings and hear these voices and connect to these energies, that
Yes.
it's not all bad unless somebody teaches you black magic,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And so that's how I got from librarian to psychic. And so I knew that the number one thing was for me to support other people. And so even after the TV show and after living in Spain again, I knew I was, I just got to this point where I was like, there's got to be more to me. And so I made this promise to spirit, and I said, let me get back to the United States. Let me figure out what I need to do. I'm going to stop drinking a month after I get home. So it was like my birthday is July 22nd. And so I was like, by August 22nd, I'm done. Show me where to go. What do I need to do? And
Mm.
sure enough, I got back and I kept that date. And by November of that year, I moved down here to Mexico. And that's where I've remained for the last 9 years, since 2015. And
Okay.
had I not followed my intuition, I don't know what I'd be doing. But I was at this, like I said, this crucial point in my life where I said, who did I say I wanted to be? I
Ooh.
did all this spiritual study. I had quit my job as a librarian, and I'm still out here thinking that this is who I'm meant to be. And I was like, no, I'm making a different promise. I'm sticking to who I said I wanted to be. And so that is where I'm, and how and where I am now. And so, I have lived all over the world. I have done some amazing things. And sometimes it even blows I just can't even believe it, because I was a single mom at 19, and I just have followed my intuition. And what I teach people and what I share with people, which is the most empowering thing, is when you do what you love, your intuition will guide you.
Mm.
And so when you're up against resistance, that's when you know you're thinking. But when you are being truly guided by your intuition, by your ancestors, by whatever gifts you may have, because we all have them, this is what could save your life. This is what tells you to go right or go left. This is, again, what we have been given. This is what our ancestors, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, Miss Cleo, Madame Marie Laveau, this is what they did as their livelihood as well. And
Yeah.
we have to remember that these great women healers were seers, were
Yes.
healers, and that it's okay for us to heal our witch wounds as Black and Indigenous women of color. White women have been healing their witch wound. It's time that we heal ours too. And this is why going back to places like Egypt and Africa and deeper into Africa are so important for us, because that's how we then remember our magic. And then we're like, oh,
Yes.
astrology, tarot, Reiki, I need all that. And
Yes.
that's how we heal. So I said a lot.
That was so
And
good.
but I wanted you to see where I came from and truly where I am now.
That 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 actually is so good, because I know that there are people watching this that, know that they have magic inside of them.
Absolutely.
You know,
We are magical.
and they may be coming from, teaching or being a librarian or being,
Yeah.
whatever, doctor.
Working corporate, whatever it is. I have worked with lawyers, writers, um, so many different types of nurses. I mean, so many different type of people,
Yes.
because we all know there's magic in us, but we've been taught if we connect to it, then we're crazy. And that's why my podcast, which I'm shifting into something new, it is in my upcoming book. I'm not crazy, I'm clairvoyant. And the
Nice.
reason I chose this is because we think we're going through a mental breakdown, but in truth, it's a midlife shift, it's an elevation. And we get so afraid of it because we're told and conditioned to be logical. And
Yes.
yet, our intuition is our highest intelligence.
Yes.
And our intuition is smarter than anything that we could learn.
Yeah.
And we must learn how to remember how to listen to it, because again, it's our instincts, but
Yeah.
we have been so conditioned to be logical. This is why there is such a, a surge in mental, breakdown, because people are being told to be this way, but inside there's something else.
It's conflict.
And the inner conflict, yes. And I know this for sure because I had an eldest brother who committed suicide.
Wow.
And so that inner conflict is real,
Yeah.
that we go through. And so that's why I want to talk about it. So again, let me
It
stop
no,
talking.
no, it needs to be. We need to have these conversations, especially
Absolutely.
in our communities.
Yes.
We are so hard hit, and a lot of times, we were conditioned to think, we don't do that, right? We
I,
don't do
it,
that. We don't do that.
I would have never in a million years thought that that was something that I would be talking about. But I now recognize that this is a part of the wellness that we have to experience. We have to talk about all of our experiences because it is trauma trapped in our body and then it becomes trapped in our mind. And that's why doing the work like yoga, breath work, meditation, working with crystals, candles, tarot, astrology is so healing because we know that is our natural medicine.
Yes.
No pharmaceuticals can take what we know internally how to
Yes.
heal ourselves. But again, we're so conditioned away from it. We're afraid. Again, we've been conditioned to believe in what they've taught us to believe, whether it's that Christianity or any other religion. But
Well,
let me tell you something, the Judaism, they follow a lunar calendar. Whose calendar do we follow?
right.
The even the Asian, they follow a lunar calendar.
Right.
Whose calendar do we follow?
Exactly. I could say something, but you know what? It's probably not going to be popular or, what do they call it? PC. So I'm not going to, but we all know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
And I think it's just so amazing that you're even opening up to those conversations because
it's
well,
time. We
my
do not have time.
my background is in nursing for 30 years. So I did mental health lots. I loved mental health actually.
Mm-hmm.
But I did it lots and I would see them and I did a lot of it in Arizona where I worked in intake. So I would bring them in. And so, I would have a lot of native people. So they would come through and they would say, we always had to ask them, do you see things other people don't see? Do you hear things other people don't hear? And I would giggle because I know I'd do all that. You know? So I would set them at ease and I would say, is that normal for you? Are they telling you things, that's gonna hurt you or anything like that? They say, no, 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 it's what I've experienced, growing up, blah, blah, blah. And I say, okay, I wouldn't even write it down because, at that point, they're going to try to medicate it out of them. And it's so many people like that right up in those places because I worked another place, same thing, and I would recognize it and I would pull it together and I would try to put them at ease and say, no, it's okay. It's all right, and
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not a wrong thing. But I know that so much of our religions, and I was raised in the South, Pentecostal, and so much of that, they had so much conditioning and so much fear that they instilled in us regarding even opening up to things.
Absolutely.
And then you got the school system that, they don't even want you to think, they just want you to work. So, we have all of this conditioning, and like you said, in being embedded into our cells and our nervous system. And girl, I thought I was gonna jump up and do some backflips. You were talking. I said, "Oh my God, she's speaking my language," because I was actually sharing that with some people earlier, like a couple of days ago. I was like, there's so much going on within us. I said, it's like we actually could have a war within us. I said, but you know what? I said, when these things come, I said, I'm gonna stop fighting and battling. I said, I'm gonna stop that. I said, and I'm going to just allow, and because I learned how to do body scans from the spirit. They just told me, just go through your body, and send the light down and, look at all your stuff. And so I learned how to do that through the spirit. And then of course I took a class later And I was like, oh, I already know how to do this. But it was like, when you start to do that and you start to realize that you're more than just whatever you think you are, and you start to remember this person that you already are. It was funny because I did a post one day. I was talking to somebody and they said, oh, I see you coming out of the spiritual closet. I see that you do this and that. I said, you know what? I said, I've always been her. I said, you've known me for years. Haven't I always been her? And she was like, yeah, you're right. I was like, I just remembered, who the fuck I was.
Ashe.
I said,
Ashe. And that is truly what I'm talking about. And that's why when I work with people, when I work with my clients, the first thing that I do is look at their birth chart. We look at their birth chart and then I give them a personality test. I look at their love language because we have to see ourselves as spiritual light beings, not who we've been taught who we are.
yes,
Right. And when we know our astrology, what the stars say about us and for us, when we learn, like I just said, Judaism is based on the lunar calendar. The Asian, and they even have their own zodiac, is based on the lunar calendar.
yeah,
They are both very prosperous people, are they not?
yes,
They're working with the cosmic vibrations. We come from Egyptians who they still haven't figured out how they have built these pyramids. So imagine, and even though they know they're aligned to the moon and the stars, doesn't that tell us that that is what we come from? And if we allow ourselves to align, to make these initiations and go to these places, instead of going to the beach, go to Egypt, go to Ghana, go to the different places within the continent. Now, I haven't been deep within, but it is definitely something that I'm working towards. I have been to Egypt. I'm again serving as a spiritual advisor and astrologist on another upcoming trip in November. Because when we make these pilgrimages, when we make these initiations, we also need spiritual support. Because what am I experiencing? What am I feeling? What am I connecting to here? This is different.
yes.
I need to understand this. And when I'm then sharing that, when you bring that in with the cosmic, oh, that's why I'm feeling that. That's what that energy is. Yes, beloved. Now align with it like that every week or every month or every twice a month or da 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 da. Learn how to use this. That is what they have been doing all of this time against us. You
Uh,
heard me say it.
oh, oh, all I want to say is yes, sis. Yes.
They have been using it against us. This is why I am so passionate about our intuition and using these tools. Because if they have been using, people don't know, Coca-Cola has been using astrology for decades. Some
Right.
of the richest companies, presidencies, and even governments, they still employ psychics to this day. Why, if that is the case, are we encouraged to be logical?
Or why are we demonized?
Exactly.
Why can't I just put that on my stuff, and
Exactly.
have
Right. And then they come and steal it. I've studied IFA now since I've moved to Mexico. And I saw a European, actual European from Europe, um, as a Iya and her husband as a Baba. And I was like, how is this possible? How, who did that? Do you know what I'm saying? And so
yes, I
we have
do.
to recognize, absolutely. And so we need to come back into our real magic,
Yes,
not anything that has been shared. And the only way we can do that is by going to sacred places like Egypt and connecting to our ancestral land, feeling it through our roots up through our chakras, through our crown, connecting to that energy. There is nothing like it.
nothing.
Nothing like it. And we must all make some, again, it is a journey, but
It-
remember what our ancestors have done for us. So it's worth it.
I agree because when I think about, matter of fact, I started doing some of my ancestry stuff. We went to Salt Lake City
Mhm.
So we went to the Mormon place, they have a genealogical place, and they
Mhm.
have, God, so many records. So many, I think when I looked at that thing, it was like 10, 12, maybe 15 places where you can go and find records from all over the world. I mean, every country. It was amazing. I mean, just it was phenomenal. It almost
Okay.
it stopped me on like a quest because I really want to, find my family. And so I started looking, and it was amazing how, you can look and some of these people were connected. Like I went back to my, I don't know, great, 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 great grand people. I got back to the 1800s, to
Yay.
1820 or something. And I was like, man, but that thing is like you go down the rabbit hole because, we only know so much.
Exactly.
And some of the stuff
But
we,
we do know it's in our bones.
yeah, 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 right, right, right.
It's in our bones, it's in our blood, it's in our spirit. And we just have to, again, what you said, remember,
Yeah,
because they're always with us. Like
yes.
I mentioned, Sojourner and Harriet. And last month, I visited Philly, and I went to the Belmont Mansion and
Mm,
connected with Harriet Tubman's energy and was like, oh my gosh, like, thank you for allowing me, because she's been a spirit guide for me for a very long time. But to connect, and again, that initiation, that pilgrimage, I am honoring you, I am remembering you.
mm,
That is how, I don't know if I'm related to her or Sojourner Truth, but I'm honoring, I'm
yes,
saying your name. I am not forgetting you. I am calling in your divine spirit in my life intentionally.
yes.
That is how we remember our ancestors, even the ones we do not know. The
Yeah.
ones who are here to support us will come in because they have been waiting for us to remember who we are.
Yes. So you're a soul transformation guy.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Yeah, that was what came to me as you were talking. I said, yeah, 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 yeah. I could see you like as a journey queen, kind of.
Soul transformation guide. And what was that? Soul queen, soul journey queen.
Yeah.
I thank you.
Yeah,
I
you're
love
welcome.
that.
That's what I saw. I was like, oh wow. Yeah, yeah. Because I actually was in one of your trainings. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I caught the replay. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is so amazing. Because, when you hear somebody talking about things that you felt and things that you've said, and you, of course, said them to the wrong people because, they couldn't hold it, they couldn't take it, they didn't understand. They thought, you're crazy, whatever. And I was like, wow. And then some stuff I've seen and I've experienced, but I haven't even shared. You know what I mean? So I was listening to you and you were speaking, and I was like, oh my God, she's speaking my language. I almost sent you a message telling you, girl, get out my head.
And see, that again is how you know we're aligned,
Yeah.
because spirit wants us to hear this and know this for ourselves. I'm not getting this as and holding it in. I know I'm meant to share it. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm on this podcast. That's why when you asked me, I said yes immediately, because I'm here to jump shift your life.
Yeah.
I'm here to advance and elevate you because we need it now.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God, that's so powerful. I'm doing backflips inside.
I'm so grateful. I'm truly so grateful. Again, I'm so passionate about this work, and it's work. This isn't a one and done. This is, I wish I could give you one cosmic soul report and you're like good to go, but I know I can give you one cosmic soul report and you're good to go for a few months. You know what I'm saying? But when you're ready to do the deep work, that is where that self sovereignty comes in. And that's why I wrote an ebook, that the self sovereignty, so you can get to know yourself and truly this A through Z. Like, what does that mean? Because we have to heal our minds so we can connect to our bodies, so we can connect to our minds in a way that is in our true self, not in our conditioned self. This is why I want people to know their astrology, their love language, their human design, their, personality. I want you to know yourself from the inside out, not the outside in. And
Yes.
that is how you know that you are divine, and
Yeah.
that you are more than this body or who you came from. Your biology does not have to be your biography, and your biography doesn't have to be your biology either.
Mm.
You can rewrite that, and that's what us who have decided to heal are here to do.
Yes, 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 yes. I think about that because I don't know a lot of astrology. I'm a minimal,
It's
I'm
okay. It's all right.
with it, I just found out I'm a big three, I'm a Scorpio sun, Pisces moon, and Leo rising.
This is where you get that spiritual and intuitive from as well. Hmm. That Pisces moon is emotional and deep. And then that Leo rising is the star, right? And you said Scorpio, so your birthday's coming up. All right. And so Scorpio is also a water sign. So, but it's also a rebirth and mystery and sexual power and rebirth and so much. So astrology is a science and a tool that will help us, like I said, jump, shift our lives like that.
So do you also do the other one, whatever the 13-month one?
The yearly cosmic soul report.
No, the other type of, they have the 12-month astrology and then the 13-month or something.
I'm not sure.
I'm talking about?
The
There's one that,
the side reel, is that what you're talking about? Side reel. No, I don't focus on side reel because I really look at your returns and your cycles and seasons. And I really focus also on the midlife shifts because astrology is based on cycles and seasons.
okay,
And so as we get older, we have these returns
okay.
that are opportunities for us to have healed. Like tomorrow, well, I'm not sure when this is going to air, but we have a big eclipse experience occurring.
Yes.
And when those occur, they're opportunities for us to change. Now, I shared with you that I do remember it was around October 3rd, and I think I said 2006. So the energy that we're about to experience is going back to that 18 years. So it's my like 18-year experience of, so the axis, it takes 18 years for it to come back around. And so whatever was occurring 18 years ago, we're being given an opportunity to, like I said, jump shift
Mm.
forward. And that's how it's in cycles and seasons. Like we don't have a Chiron return, which is called the wounded planet, the wounded healer planet, until we're 50-51. And
Oh,
so, right. And so some of these returns are every 12 years or every 9 years, right? But again, not just 9, 18, 36. No, it's based on your astrology. And so as you get older, your astrology gets richer, actually, because then you know what it's talking about. And so astrology is for maturity because it's a tool to help you in the now and involvement.
I love it. Every time I've had a reading, it's opened up so much for me.
Absolutely.
Like it's just like, oh my God, and it's funny because I'll look at it, I'm like, how do they know this? It's almost like human design. When I
Yeah,
started,
human design. Yeah,
I was like, wow, this opened up a whole nother, you
it
know,
does. Yeah, because astrology is here in the cosmos, and then human design is our energy. So if you start to see yourself in the layers, right? Just like the chakras are layers,
yeah.
you know, we are layered beings. Our aura is in different layers. And so this is why when first we can start with crystals, and then before you know it, we're talking past life regression, meditation, all these different things. So it's like the baby steps, the levels, right? And then pretty soon you're talking about, the Palladium star system and, you know, star seeds, but you can't start at star seeds.
Yeah.
People will really think you're nuts, right? And so you've got to start at the beginning. And it's a layer by layer experience.
Yeah, that's so powerful. That is so powerful. Oh my God.
Yay.
I could talk to you all day, but
Me too.
but we're gonna land this plane.
Thank you, beloved.
Yeah. So what I want to ask you, I have one question that I ask all my guests, and I've not ever gotten the same answer twice, which is amazing, right? So the question is, if you could change anything in the world, what would that be and why?
It would be money. So everybody could experience true prosperity and abundance for all, that it's not based on who has what and that, but there's enough for all of us.
Hmm.
And so everybody could feel what it feels like to, live in comfort and be at peace and knowing that you have enough
Hmm.
and
I
that we are supported and supplied.
I love that. And again, first time. Nobody's
Thank
ever
you.
said that. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So from here, Tanya, just let the people know what you have going on, if you're enrolling anything or you're doing anything, inviting people into containers, whatever. Just share what you have.
Yay. And
How
so, right.
you can be found.
Okay. So, actually, I'm going through a name change right now on Instagram. And so I'm not sure when this will be airing, but it is Wild Women Who Woo. And so that's the new name that's coming up from the Black Girl Woo. The name is changing to Wild Women Who Woo because it's time for us to embrace that wild doesn't mean bad. We're, midlife. We are medicine women now, and so that you can find me there and also on YouTube at Tonya Melendez, the Black Psychic Librarian, my website, www.tarotlifecoach.com. And yeah, that's where you can find me. And I do have the Cosmic Soul Report available now as well. I'm starting the Astral Alchemy. It's going to be a cohort where I'm going to share with you the basics of really how to use astrology for yourself, as well as tarot. I know we need these self practices and we need them now. And so I want everyone to be their own astral alchemist and using these gifts right now. So that's what I've got coming up. So thank you. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity.
You are so welcome. And I have enjoyed this, as Abraham Hicks would say, I have enjoyed this interaction. It's been
Mhm.
so phenomenal. I mean, just your energy is just fire, and I'm just grateful to be able
Thank
to be
you.
in it. Yeah, yeah.
Yay. Thank you so much, beloved. I am so grateful.
Beautiful spirit, beautiful inside and out. And I'm just so grateful to be able to be, here with you, bringing this forward, because I know there are so many people out there watching us, especially that look like us, that are wondering, because this is one of the things that I've been trying to do is to showcase, some people that look like me that are doing this
Mhm.
work, because so many of, yeah, I usually get a lot of response from other people to come on the show, but not often the people that look like me. And I'm so grateful when
Yeah.
I'm able to talk to us, because we have, we all have the same issues, but we have deeper stuff going on within our lineages because of the traumas that we are carrying in our DNA. The traumas that we're, carrying 7 generations back, plus we're carrying our own shit. So it's like, my God, and I think we understand that, it's not just get over it. We tried that, didn't work, and so and then also as we age, as we get older, because I'm a Gen X, and as we get older, there are other things and other challenges and things start flowing out too, because as Gen X, we were conditioned, trained, like you said, to just hold it in, push it down, kick it away, whatever. And you can do that for a while, but after a while, that stuff starts coming up. And typically it comes up in the form of disease and conditions. So yeah, so all of that. So again, thank y'all so much for hanging out with us today. If you like this show, make sure that you like and that you share and you subscribe wherever you watch or listen to it, and then let other people know what we're talking about on here, because we are here to save lives, to help people to move forward in their lives and to heal from, generational things, and to heal from even things even in our lifetime, from traumas all around. So again, thank you so much for joining us on Straight Out of Savannah. Hello, you have just finished watching Tonya Melendez come on the show and just tear it up. I was so pleased with her. She was such an amazing, beautiful, beautiful healer. And I was just so grateful to be in her energy. And I hope that you felt the same. And so she shared so many nuggets, so many nuggets. So make sure that you get your pen and your pad so that you can take notes, watch it again. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe on wherever you are watching. And if you are looking for any type of support on your healing journey, you can reach out to me on whatever platform you are listening or watching this on. You can also reach into the show notes and find out ways to contact me. So again, thank you so much for watching or listening, and we appreciate you on Straight Out of Savannah.